So, what's up? What's up? What's going on, everybody? What's poppin'? Today I decided to do something a little bit different, and I drew like an animation, a little demonstration, a drawing of how to understand positive thoughts and negative thoughts, and how does it pertain to the goals that you want in life. So this is really understanding more about the subconscious mind, the power of belief, negativity, positivity, things of that nature. And so I decided to draw something for you guys to make it, I feel, more simplified and more easier to understand when it comes down to the thoughts that you have and how it influences uh, the behaviors or the goals or the desires that you have in life. So in this particular case, we're going to be speaking on goals. So I'm going to kind of explain it to you guys so you can keep up what it is that I'm going to start, when I finally get into the whole explaining of things, you won't get lost in the drawings. So I'm going to explain to you guys what this is and what I drew for you. So let's start it off. So the topic, right, is what boardroom meeting are you in, understanding the subconscious mind, okay? And so the goal, every time you set a goal, which is building muscle and losing weight. That's the goal, right? Every time you set a goal, it has to go through a board meeting. So these little boxes that you see are different board meetings, right? So this is how that goes. This is the first level board meeting. This level one board is level one, level two, level three. Level one, this is the mindset, which is all negative, right? Level two is negative and positive. Level three is all positive. So the CEO, you notice it got CEO at the top. The CEO is the subconscious mind. The CEOs are the subconscious mind. You notice the color, I colored it in the inside of the circle. The red represents the red is all negative. The blue and red is half and half. And then you got all blue, which is all positive, right? And the little circles on the side are the board members, AKA your thoughts, AKA, well, let's just leave it at that. Your thoughts. These are the thoughts that are sitting at the table, at the meeting, the board meeting, right? And so let's just start it off. So what I have right here is what is negative bias. So I want you guys to understand this concept. When it comes down to achieving a particular goal that you have, you're going to naturally think negative first. You're going to naturally think negative towards that goal first. Why? It's because we've been polarized to be negative. Negative bias is a psychological phenomenon, some documented scientific phenomenon that they discovered in human beings, that we are naturally polarized for to view things in a negative way. So the example would be like, for instance, there's several examples you can find on the internet. They use an example with, like, say a couple goes on a hiking trip and they're staring at the sunset, and then they look to the right of them and they see a rattlesnake. And so what happens with that is when they go back home and tell their friends how was the trip, they'll say, oh, we saw a rattlesnake. They'll focus on a negative rather focusing on a positive, which was the sunset. Another example of negative bias would be, say, for instance, your child comes home with their report card and they have 3 A's, 1 B, and 1 C. What you'll do is you'll say, oh, what's up with that C though? Why you got a C on your report card? Rather than focusing all the other positive or the majority of the report card is good, you focus on the one negative. So negative bias is like kind of saying when you have all things working in your favor, you focus on that one negative thing and you just let that penetrate your psyche and you think about it over and over and over and you just stay polarized in that negativity. So according to the research, what they say, the psychologists and things like that, negative bias stems from when we were cavemen, quote unquote. And that when we was cavemen, quote unquote, we had to defend ourselves. We had to protect ourselves. We had to become aware of potential threats. So the negative bias actually came from, it's an evolution type thing where, when we was in the ancient times, or in how they say it anyway, the caveman times, we had to have a level of awareness to where we look for potential threats that can harm us. And so now it carried over to the modern day society where it's considered to be negative. So I always look at it like this. Negativity could be another word of saying potential threats, right? So like, if you live in New Orleans, for instance, like I live in New Orleans, we know that all the killing probably happens, like say uptown and let's say in the east. So if you stay on the West Bank, you're not too much in that area where there's a lot of crime. But say you're sitting in your car, it's 9 o'clock at night, and it's dark where you at. You know that New Orleans have a reputation of killing and murdering. You're gonna naturally have this idea, right here on the side, this negative idea, these negative thoughts, right? You're gonna have those type of thoughts influence the CEO, which is the subconscious mind. You're going to start thinking to yourself, like, damn, like, I mean, I know I'm in a good space, but fuck, it's like 7, 8 o'clock at night. Like, you might start thinking negative. But what you really could say is you actually start scanning for potential threats. So the way that the way that your ego works, let's just speak on that for a little while. The way the ego works, the way that the conscious mind works, the ego is the same thing as your logic. The way that the ego works is it's always constantly scanning for threats. That's why so a little side story. I had got to a place in my journey, especially when I've been doing a lot of, let's say, mental work. I started to realize, why do I always think about negativity when I'm not thinking about negativity? Like, it say an idle mind is a devil's playground. I had an idle mind. I'm just staring off into space. I'm not thinking about nothing specifically. And I just have negative thoughts come in. And I'm not even thinking about anything. I'm not even thinking to think negative. But negative thoughts are just flushing in. And I'm not even thinking anything negative. And I'm like, what the hell is that? Like, why does it seem like I'm thinking negative when I'm not trying to? So this whole negative bias plays a factor with that. It's because we're polarized. Our subconscious mind, like I said, the color of the subconscious mind is all red, meaning that it's completely polarized in all negativity. So all your board members, right, all your thoughts are going to be supporting the subconscious mind. Everybody's in agreement. Whatever the subconscious mind, the CEO, because the CEO is the boss, the subconscious mind is the boss. It's 90% doing everything. It creates everything. The subconscious mind is everything. You really need to be more intensive of what you're putting in your subconscious mind. So whatever that subconscious mind is polarized in, which in this case is all negativity, then it shares the information to the conscious mind, which is this table, the square. You know how they say think outside the box. The conscious mind is considered to be a square. It's very limited. So the subconscious mind sends the information to the conscious mind, and thus the conscious mind, circulates the information of like negativity, like, oh yeah, we in the wrong spot. Yo, we need to leave, blah, blah, blah. So back, like I was saying, the ego scans for potential threats. That's its job. And so it's kind of like looking to protect you, but at the same time, it seems like you always in a negative space as well, because you like, damn, like, I'm not trying to think negative. I'm trying to be positive about where I'm at in my environment and what I'm doing. So in a nutshell, what is negative bias? What is negative bias? Negative bias is basically you're so polarized with negativity that even your thoughts support whatever it is that you're trying to do. So let's go back to our example. Let's use this example. So my goal is to build muscle and lose fat or lose weight at the same time. That's my goal. That goal that you have, that desire that you have, it comes down, or let me say this, it filters through, right? You think about it, you want it, and then you think about it, then you want it, then you send that desire to your CEO or to the subconscious. Now, if the subconscious is negative, the first thing you're going to say is, fuck no, it can't happen. You're going to think about all the things of how it can happen. You're going to say, oh, well, building muscle and losing weight at the same time. They say that's something that you can't do. They say that you can't build muscle and lose weight at the same time. There's no such thing as body recomposition. This whole theory, this whole myth, it's not a thing. You have to do one or the other. You can't do both at the same time. You're just completely negative about it. You're not even trying to see if there's a better perspective on it or being optimistic about it. You're just naturally polarized in the negativity, right? So negative bias, it plays out in so many factors. It's not just what I just said. It's also other things too that people speak about, but I don't want to go deep into that. I just want to keep it on this level. But understanding that your mind is naturally, listen to this. Your mind is naturally polarized for negativity. That's just what it is. It's naturally polarized for negativity. It's always going to think negative first. And it may not be a negative situation. It simply be because of your experiences, the things that you experiences that was unpleasant to you. The subconscious mind is looking to protect you, and it doesn't want to relive those experiences. Therefore, it sends the information to the board members or your thoughts, and it's like, yo, we're not doing this shit. Remember last time what happened, blah, 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 blah. And you're thinking completely negative about it because of your experiences. So let's just say this, because there's always a good and bad to everything. It's always a twin, right? It's always a dualistic perspective. That is a great thing to a degree, because who wants to experience the same things over and over and over? You do want to learn from your experiences. You do want to learn from your mistakes. You do want to learn from your traumas. But in a sense, when we're talking about building muscle and losing weight, the goal, we're talking about goals right now. When it comes down to your goals, you want to have more of an optimistic perspective. So let's go to the next CEO, right? The next CEO is the red and the blue. This means that you're half and half. You're negative and you're positive. Now, I feel like some people at this point, some people are at this level. A lot of people who, especially trying to achieve goals in life, they're at the negative and the positive perspective. So what this looks like is basically that, say, for instance, the goal is to build muscle and losing weight. You might say, okay, all right, so what I got to do is build muscle and lose weight. Okay, I can kind of see that happening. I know what I got to do. I did some research. They said you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do that. So you got two, look at the board members. You got two colors blue and you got three colors blue. The blue represents positive, the red represents negative. You got 4 members that's negative. You got 5 members that's positive. The 4 members that's negative, or 9 times out of 10, are going to probably influence your decision making or your pursuits to achieving that goal more than the 5 members that are positive. Why? Because you're naturally negative. You naturally have a negative disposition. So say you're going down this goal, say you're going down this journey to losing weight and building muscle at the same time. You may not see the results when you want to see it. It may take 6 months. Eventually, these 4 members, these negative members, because you're polarizing this level. You're polarizing this level mindset. Eventually, those 4 members that are negative, they're going to start becoming their voices, let's just say, because you do hear these thoughts in your head. They're going to start to get stronger and stronger and stronger to eventually, like I said, you're half and half. Eventually, the subconscious is going to be like, you know what? I don't think we could do this shit. And it's going to accept it because you're allowing the 4 members who are negative in this board meeting to take over the whole board meeting, right? Take over the whole approach to this goal, and you listen to the board members, the negative thoughts, you listen to them, and then you give in and you don't achieve the goal. So I hope that makes sense. So the reason why I made this very intentional, you see, I put 5 members, five positive members of, the blue, and then 4. I added that extra for 5 because in reality, speaking on reality, everything's possible. Everything's possible. So there's no impossible anything. Everything's possible. But let's go a little bit further with this whole understanding as well. Also understand that what makes this more of a challenge for people who have this mindset of negative plus positive, the half and half, is that what also feeds the negativity with this particular mindset is the people who are so into realism. People who always say in the midst of everything that they got going in life, oh, well, you got to be realistic about it. I'm just being realistic about it. Being realistic about something is not helping out your subconscious. It's not helping out your reality in any way, shape, or form. Being realistic about something is, I really want you to question, what is realism? Because when it comes down to your subconscious mind, it doesn't know what's real or not. Your subconscious doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's fake. Only you know that. Only the importance, only the beliefs that you have, the emotions that you have, that you place on what you deem that is real, is what is considered to be real to your subconscious. Let me back that up a little bit. I think I'm saying that a little bit too fast. Understand the way your subconscious mind works. Understand it. You have to understand it. When people who set certain goals for themselves, say for instance, you say, oh, well, I want to make, and this is another example. I want to make, I don't know, $20,000, and I want to make $20,000 a month in the next 6 months. That sounds like a great goal. And so while you're going through this journey to trying to get $20,000 so you can start making $20,000 each month, you start to have doubts. You start to think realistically, like, oh, well, I don't know if that's something that I can achieve, or I don't know if there's something that can actually happen. You start getting so realistic, and realistic actually creates pessimism. You start to become pessimistic about your goal, and then you start to feed into the negativity, the thoughts that are in there that's already saying we can't do it. You start feeding into that, and then you no longer achieve your goal. You know what I'm saying? So, and let's go a little bit further. Even with that example, if that was, say, a goal that you have was to make $20,000 a month, and you're trying to get that within 6 months, just because you don't hit that goal in 6 months doesn't mean that it doesn't exist, or it doesn't mean that it's not achievable. You maybe just had planned it wrong. It might take a little bit longer. Some things may not happen the way you want it to happen at that particular time. You might have to do a little bit more digging. You might have to do a little bit more research. You might have to do a little bit more work to get it to the point where it is achievable, or where it is going to be manifested. But that doesn't mean that it can't be manifested. That doesn't mean that it's not possible, right? So think about it. Whenever you're having a goal, like I said, we're going to go back over to this, building muscle and losing weight. Realism doesn't exist. It's all about perception. It's about what you deem what is real and what is not real. It's that simple. It's what you deem is what's real and what is not real. Granted, there are things in this particular dimension, this particular reality, just whatever you want to call it, that it's like, yo, physical pain, whatever experiences that you have in this life. Yes, it does seem real, but it only seems real to the 5 physical senses. And that's how we're perceiving this whole phenomenon through our 5 physical senses. And so that alone is a limitation, because our senses are limited to a degree. So don't feed too much into the realism of your goal. Just give it enough time, give it enough nourishment, give it enough energy, and it will manifest. But let's move forward. But most people, what I feel like, are definitely in the in-between, the level 2, where it's negative and positive. And so you're being influenced by negative thoughts and positive thoughts. You have negative thoughts throughout the day, and you have positive thoughts throughout the day. You try to keep a balanced perspective, right? The middle point is the neutral point, the balanced perspective. Then you got the all positive perspective, right? Where the whole mind is positive, or you see everything from a positive perspective. Now, this particular polarization, right, is a polarization that most people say, oh, there's no such thing as being all positive, or that's something that you can't achieve. Once again, you have to understand the way your subconscious mind works. What are you searching for? Now, the goal is to build muscle and lose weight at the same time, right? So if you have, say, more positive, right, thoughts, look at the CEO. Your subconscious mind is more polarized and positive energy, positive understanding. If you have more of that, then all the thoughts, all the board members are going to support the way the subconscious mind views this particular goal. You know what I'm saying? So there's not too much friction. It's not too much back and forth. It's not too much like, oh, is this something that can happen? It's none of that, because everybody is on the same accord. Everybody in this particular board meeting is all in a positive mindset. And so the way that you can, let's say, get to that particular mindset of being, positive and things of that nature is you got to do some real motherfucking work. And what I mean by that is you have to understand your subconscious level. You have to pick up a book, or YouTube it, audio book, something that helps you understand on a deeper level how the subconscious mind works, because there's layers to it. And, it is a lot of, reprogramming, repetition, self-control of your emotions, your reactions, becoming highly self-aware. The thing about the negative bias is once you realize that your mind is taking you down a tunnel of negativity, you stop it from going down that route and you change it, right? And that has to come with a high level of being self-aware, right? And another great resource is, study the Kabbalion. Read the 7 laws of Tahuti, the 7 universal laws, and you'll understand on a deeper level or how this whole game that we're playing works. Those are the game. If life is a game, those are the rules to this game. And once you know the rules to the game, how can you not win? You know what I'm saying? But you got to know that for yourself. You got to do some studying to understand that and some research. So so we got the concept out the way, right? You got level 1, level 2, level 3. So we all start at level 1. This is just being completely negative in every way, shape, or form, because like I said, we have an inborn negative disposition. This is kind of like how we all set up in life, to just look at things in a negative manner. And really also to add with that is understanding the ego, because once you understand the ego and once it's been cultivated, the nature of the ego is to protect you, but it's also to hinder you and to leave you and keep you in a comfortable setting. It doesn't want to see you evolve. It doesn't want to see you do anything that's outside of its own existence. It has to feel like it has to feel. You have to keep feeding it. If you don't feed it, then it fights. It has to stay. It has to feel alive. It has to stay alive in a sense. So this is like more of its playground, because all this shit right here is just being very, comfortable, being very stagnant, being very, fearful, very, very protective. Don't want to go out in life. Don't want to do what you need to do. It's just a lot of this. You see a lot of people with this, just protecting themselves and just staying in this form of energy, this mindset, right? So this is the level 1. The level 2 is negative and positive, right? So you want to get to the point where you start introducing more positivity into your mind, introducing more positivity into your subconscious. You have to, start taking the conscious effort to start thinking positive about a lot of the things in life. But in this particular case, we're going to talk about goals. Whenever you have a goal in mind and it's a goal that seems like it's out your grasp, it seems like it's something that's not achievable, you gotta have positivity in the mix of it. And this mindset can work. This mindset can work. This mindset can definitely work. You don't have to be completely all positive. You know what I'm saying? This mindset can work. You just have to be aware of what you're feeding the most. Are you feeding more of the negative, right? Are you listening more to the board members of negativity, or are you listening more to the positive board members? You just got to be mindful of that when you're trying to pursue your goals, because this is gonna affect the way that you achieve your goals based off of what thoughts that you're constantly feeding into. But the all positive mindset, like I said, it takes a lot of work and understanding the power of the subconscious mind. When you understand the power of the subconscious mind, everything that you do should work in your favor. Everything that you think of, you should always make it work in your favor, because the mind doesn't know what's real or not. And to go a little bit further, understand the power of belief. If you don't understand the power of belief, you don't understand shit. The power of belief is everything when it comes down to your subconscious mind. That's how superstitions are created. That's how all these false religions that we believe in are sustainable in the way that they are. That's how most people achieve a lot of the things that most people say they could never achieve. What's up, guys? So my phone decided to go out because I need to delete a lot of shit on my phone. So I got to go through my emails, my photos, my videos, and do some deleting, because I'm always constantly trying to create content, but I need to delete some stuff. So let's just kind of wrap this up. So I'm going to kind of leave off where I left off at and just kind of get to the solution of it. So the first mindset, which is a level 1 mindset, was the all negative bias mindset. To kind of get yourself out of that particular mindset and kind of balance it out with more positivity, you want to practice the art of gratitude. You want to practice the art of gratitude. So with the negative bias phenomenon, right? They say that if you're in a relationship, for every one negative thought that you have about someone or your partner, you want to have 5 things to counteract it, or kind of balance it. If you have if you're just talking to someone and you're, let's say, trying to get them some constructive criticism, for every one negative thing that you say about them, you want to have 3 good things about it. So say, for instance, I'm in a relationship with my girl, right? And I give her 3 positive traits and 1 negative trait, or 4 positive traits and 1 negative trait. I say, oh, babe, I love the way that you think. I love that you're so intelligent. I love that you're so much into spirituality. I love that about you. You have a great personality. And I love that you're driven and that you have so many amazing goals and things that you want to accomplish. But I feel like it's times you don't know how to control your emotions. And so that, I think that kind of makes us a little bit off at times. She's not going to listen. She's not going to hear all of the positive traits. She's going to hear that one thing that you said. And that one thing is going to circulate, and it's just going to start to grow. It's going to fester. It's like a seed that I just plant in her mind, and she's going to keep watering it, because we're naturally polarized to seek out or to pay attention to the negative in everything that we do. So this is why the art of gratitude, and that's an example on understanding the art of gratitude. The reason why a lot of scientists and researchers and psychologists say that you need to, for every, 1 negative thing, you want to say 5 positive things, is because when you practice the art of gratitude, everything that goes on in our life, let's say, for instance, you're trying to leave the family nest, you're trying to get out your mama house or your dad house, or you're trying to just have a place to yourself. We beat ourselves up because we're trying to get in a position where we can make enough money to where we can survive on our own, let's just say. And so it may take a while to get to that particular goal. And so we let that one particular goal overshadow all the positive that we have in our life. So, the fact that we have food on the table, the fact that we have clothes on our back, the fact that we're able to travel, we have transportation, we have, great friends and family, we're healthy, we have a great mindset, we're very disciplined in our things that we love, like the things that we do, like, we have the opportunities to go out and enjoy ourselves. Like, it's a lot of things that we have that we don't focus on, all the positive that we have that we don't glorify enough. We want to just focus on that one thing. So practicing the art of gratitude primes the mind to start shifting into a positive perspective or perception, or a positive disposition towards your goals, or just in life in general. So that's why, researchers and psychologists will say, for every one thing, have 5 things to counterbalance it. For every one negative thing, have 3 things to counterbalance it. What they're talking about is the art of gratitude. In the simplest terms, that's what they're talking about. practice that over and over and over whenever that one thing, because it's funny, you really realize it'd be like one thing that we don't like about our life or where we're trying to go at, and it's hard for us to get to it, or it's taking a little bit longer than usual. But focus on everything else you got going on in your life and keep putting that energy out there towards the positive to kind of balance that negative. And then you'll start to shift yourself into the level 2, and you start to shift yourself more into the level 3. The more that you do more work, when you get to the 2 to the 3, doing more work and being more self-aware, and like I said, being more action-oriented in your mind, as far as like changing the habits that you have, like taking the time out to really self-evaluate and see what parts of yourself that you are polarizing negativity in your mind, and just transmute that particular energy, because negative and positive is really the same thing. So this positive energy or positive thought becomes a negative negative thought becomes a positive. You can say it, I guess you can say that. A positive thought can become a negative thought, and a negative thought can become a positive thought. So it's really all about transmutation. So from level 2 to level 3, you want to transmute the energy. You want to transmute those 4 negative thoughts into all positive thoughts, and just keep feeding that. And like I said, it's possible. And also another solution is belief, understanding the power of belief. There's a great book. Hold that thought. Coming right back before this goddamn camera go off. So there's a great book. Boom, right there. Bow, all in your face. The magic of thinking big. Bow, you know what I'm saying? Get this book. This is definitely going to get your mind right. Definitely going to get your mind right, especially understanding the subconscious. And so, understanding the power of belief is everything. You have to understand that. And whatever you believe in is going to be what it is. It's going to be what's going to manifest. And so, yeah, I'm going to get off this mic now because I've been on here for a minute. It is late. So I hope this demonstration made it I hope I made it simple for you guys. I hope I made it to where you have an understanding. If you got to play it more than once, do that. But definitely let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment in the section. If you're looking to work with me, check out my website at www.touchedbyjoshuatree.com. And you can also follow me on the gram as well. And I'm going to leave on that note. And you guys enjoy the rest of your night, because it's nighttime where I'm at. So I'm going to just say it's nighttime where you're at. But if it's morning time, then that's cool too. But anyway, I'm going to holler back. Peace.